Coming up, Candace Owens criticized by her followers in the comment section. I will share some of those comments. Candace Owens was called out on her lack of empathy about Sonya Massey, who was killed by the police. Some of her followers said she lacked empathy, and her tendency to associate everything to political agenda has caused her to always sound the same way in every situation. She refuses to see how race often does play a role in how blacks are treated. Candace also called Cardi B uneducated and, quote, a useful idiot, just because Cardi B expressed her dissatisfaction with Candace's ever-political obsession versus having an empathetic stance on police killings. Candace Owens is a polarizing figure with views that resonate with some conservatives and libertarians but are deeply criticized by others. While she has built a significant following, her controversies and criticisms have led to accusations of promoting harmful ideologies. It's essential to approach her views with a critical eye and consider multiple perspectives before forming an opinion. On July 25th's episode of Candace on her YouTube channel, Candace was criticized for lacking empathy for Sonya by a number of her followers in the comment section. Not all her followers subscribed to all the extreme views that she shared and were willing to call her out on it. I will read some of those comments from those viewers. It is always encouraged to get the full context of any matter, and therefore I implore you to watch her podcast and hear what she says. Here's a clip from the shooting of Sonya Massey. You can watch the full video using the link in the description. After the clip, I'll play what Candace had said.
How do you get down here? And I need to tell you, please don't hurt me.
Oh, we hurt you. You called us.
Okay, please.
So what'd you hear?
Somebody outside my house, y'all.
Is this your car over here? Is this your car over here?
I heard somebody outside.
Yeah, we checked your house. We checked your backyard. I walked all the way through all these backyards. We checked your front yard.
We didn't see nobody.
So nobody's out here.
You didn't see anybody?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, sir.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
You doing all right mentally?
Yes.
Sure?
My medicine and stuff.
All right. You got a name? You got an idea or something? Take your name real quick. Catch this. See what you spoke. I just driver's license will do, and then I'll get out of your hair.
1 second.
Check on her.
Let me get this.
We don't need a fire one. Huh? Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I was refused to in the name of Jesus.
Huh?
Refused to in the name of
You better not. That's where I got. I'll shoot you right in your face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the pot. Fucking drop the pot.
Keep shots fired.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Is there anything you think we can do for her?
No.
Alright, I'm not even gonna waste my med stuff then.
You know what else we do? I'm not taking pot going to over the face.
I want to tell y'all, the sheriff is here is an embarrassment. Because this man should have never had a badge. He should have never had a gun. He should have never been given the opportunity to kill my child.
It's just troubling on every level. I mean, black women don't get the consideration and the respect in America. Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, Pam Turner, in all these instances, there was no real accountability. These black women died and America has blood on their hands.
Although Candace condemns the killing of Sonya Massey, calling it extreme, she could not help herself in associating people's outrage to political agenda and that the black community as usual was using this killing for political reason. She premised her commentary by doing just that,
Obviously, we expect right before election time, things get crazy every single time. And typically there seems to be a story that is targeted to Black America because they always want Black America enraged and angry, and therefore voting and acting without a cool mind, like not without a level head, right? You're supposed to just be angry, and whichever party gets behind you and your anger is supposed to be the party that you support. That's exactly why George Floyd, that was perpetuated around the world with very little facts and a lot of emotion. Well, people are wondering if it's supposed to be the second George Floyd story, given the fact that the President of the United States has already tweeted about it. So I'm going to at first tell you what took place. There was a 36-year-old Black woman in Illinois who had called 911 for help. And she essentially, and I'm going to show you the video, definitely seems to be just out of it, I guess is the best way to say it. I guess she's acting quite erratically.
Candace said that Sonya Massey was acting quite erratically. For all thinking people watching the video, it can be inferred that she may have some issues. I'm not certain anyone would agree that she behaved erratically or in any manner, despite that, to justify the police killing her. But that's how Candace prefaces her commentary, to create that atmosphere that the officers somehow felt threatened, and that's why they used lethal force.
And in the video, you are just wondering what's going on. She doesn't seem to really know what's going on, and you can't predict her next move. Now, so after he says that, he does in fact shoot her, and she dies. And what my understanding is that she shot him in the head. So those two deputies, you have Deputy Sean Grayson, another one who I'm not sure. At first, they're obviously speaking calmly to her in the home, and then she goes to the stove to turn off the pot of boiling water, and then she picks up the pot, and the other deputy steps up away from the hot steaming water. Now, when this first was spoken about, we were told that, I don't know, there was some sort of a threat with the boiling water. Sure, yes, she's acting erratically, and there is a situation in which she could have thrown the boiling water at the police officers. But they were nowhere near her, and then they shoot her, which to me, given the context of the fact that you knew that this woman was not mentally there, and even if she did throw boiling water at you, I don't see how saying, she said, I will rebuke you, I think she said, in the name of the Lord. And then he says, no, you will not, because I will shoot you. I mean, that is like very extreme, very aggressive. And he then proceeds to, he says, I will shoot you in the face. I mean, that's just like, what are you even talking about?
Yes, Candace, this is the real point of what happened. All the other political outrage was unnecessary, even if you felt as though the situation can be used politically. But in true Candace fashion, you had to make it political up front and center because you lack empathy and always want to be different. You are not an objective person, you rely on the same system that you criticize day after day. Does this mean that everything you say is not worth listening to? Absolutely not. However, for the more gullible people that for unknown reasons chooses to idolize you and don't receive information from you with a critical eye, those are the people I am mostly sympathetic toward. Because you are also doing exactly what you claim mainstream media is doing to people.
In my opinion, he should have simply used his taser if he felt threatened by the steaming water. Or if he felt that he absolutely had to use his gun, why didn't he shoot her in the foot or somewhere lower? This just did not seem like an appropriate response to me whatsoever. Now, parking that aside, of course, as I have said since the beginning of time.
Now, listen to Candace very clearly here. Being so tone-deaf and arguable unhinged about the realities that Black people in particular face by the police.
There are mistakes that police officers are human beings. There are mistakes that happen, and the idea that now you're going to use this situation, and all the usual suspects are already involved, we know that Attorney Crump is already involved, to then try to make Black Americans believe that this happened simply because she was Black is pointedly ridiculous. So I am saying to Black Americans today, do not take this bait. Yes, what happened in this situation, I think he's going to have a very hard time, this officer, saying that he absolutely felt so threatened by boiling water that the only solution was for him to mindfully say, I'm going to shoot you in the face, and that's what he did. I think that's going to be a very steep hill to climb. But the reaction from Black America cannot be exactly what they want. There is a reason that whoever is in control of Joe Biden's account instantly tweeted about this, okay? It's because they think we're stupid. They think we're emotional. I think that we always respond illogically and emotionally, and that it's an easy way for them to shore up votes by...
Grant Tiger Gaming said, the police story wasn't represented properly, Candace. You should have commentated on the full video. She called the police because she was afraid of someone prowling around her house. The police came, already annoyed and rude in the full body cam footage. They surveyed her property and noticed the car in her driveway had a broken window, but otherwise everything was okay. They get more annoyed because she took a few minutes to get dressed and answer the door. They then let themselves in and are interrogating her about the car in the driveway instead, escalating her distressed state. That's when the incident occurs. They actually told her to tend to the burner. They then both start joking back and forth about the hot water as she's holding it, and from what I can see, it looks like she is actually feeling afraid of them in defense mode, not provoking them. Even the rebuke you in the name of Jesus didn't warrant that response. She also made no gesture that she was going to do anything further when he does open fire. She actually ducks behind the pot, and he also lied multiple times about the incident in the after footage. Candace, I agree with your sentiment, but in this one, the officer is way out of line and does seem agitated with her beyond the circumstances. I think racism is overused, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I think this one is bordering that line based on all the footage. My only evidence of why this one is in this gray area is because the cop did not try to de-escalate at all, did not opt to less lethal for a non-lethal situation. He went to the firearm immediately, had no hesitation to fire, and lied multiple times after. His partner also did not agree with the actions taken in the full report. At YM 505 say, you clearly justified the cop's action. The justification came just where you stopped your clip, when you began saying, but police officers are humans. There was absolutely no reason to bring up unfounded theories in such a tragic incident that was clearly not a mistake. Yes, most people who watched that clip could conclude that it was racially motivated, and that conclusion is justifiable. At Tidiakarel said, Sonya died and that's what's upsetting and she's angry about. It's sad you are not demonstrating that but arguing it. You could have simply reiterated how sad Sonya died, period. Whether you believe it or, it could have been anybody including you. There are ways an officer could have handled that situation. God forbid anything happens to you, the sisterhood will stand up for you. Stand up for your kind, women in general, cause you are also been used. At CNHA 26 said, I watched the video. Ms. Massey does not look like she's under the influence or having an adverse reaction. She wasn't acting erratically. Why provide excuses, Candace? That is why you are untrustworthy. Even if she was sleepwalking, why highlight that if not to justify the officer's overreaction? Stop gaslighting now that you got called out. Speaking properly does not equal speaking accurately, and we all see through you. At TDH 213 said, Candace, I'm white, grew up in the South. In my childhood, segregation to the point of separate water fountains and restrooms in public places was the norm. Black people were considered as unequal, to say the very least. I'm grateful that my mother saw things differently. Watching as much of the video of what went down as I could, I know exactly what was going on in that cop. The cop's actions were dictated by the big R. I detest the whole George Floyd craziness. That cop deserves to be free. I'm not for reparations, any of that, but this cop, this was a crime. The woman who died called it out for what it was. May she rest in peace, and I'm so sorry for her family's pain. At EPDO 1-6 said, Candace, you simply do not have to comment on everything. You were wrong to comment negatively on the Sonya Massey case. You could have just shut up and wait for the investigation to unfold.